Prepare your mind. Live in reality with me. Who do you say you are? A sheep or resilient? Do you think you're brainwashed? Should those in Western history who beat and tortured their slaves be excused? Maybe the people in the South who fought for slavery were brainwashed and should be excused. Are some people incapable of reasoning outside of a hive mind? Are you incapable of thinking outside the hive mind? Should you be excused for allowing the death of millions? Good morning, ladies and men. I'm back. I think we're finally on episode 5, maybe. I have a hard time keeping track of what episode that we're actually on. Regardless, we left off talking about Marley. We left off talking about how you have a choice, even if you had bad knowledge of history or if you were brainwashed in some sense about your history. We talked about the difference between different kinds of brainwashing, whether it is that you've just been told false information or whether you've been tortured kind of brainwashed. And there is a huge difference. And we discussed that in Marley, they're not the tortured kind of brainwashed exactly. They're really just more of bad history that they were told. So they subjugate themselves to Marleyans, thinking that they are rectifying their past and that that is the way to do it. And we talked about that quite a bit. We move forward now, and I told you that Aaron is over in Marley with some of his buddies undercover. Aaron uses the boy Falco to get Reiner down to this underground area, which is beneath like an amphitheater. Above in the amphitheater is a man who was actually talking against the Marley government's will and telling the Marleyans the actual truth and the actual history of the people of Eldia. And while he's telling all the people this, everyone in the stadium is just shocked. They can't believe they're hearing this. The Marley authorities are just losing their cool. They're about to kill this guy because he's telling the truth. And Aaron gets going with his little conversation with Reiner. Aaron reminds him of what he did, that he understands why he did what he did, but now he's going to do what he's going to do. And Reiner, like little Bish, begs for his life and says, what about this kid? What about his life? You can't do this. This is between me and you. Well, Reiner wasn't really thinking that when, he slaughtered Aaron's whole village. But, go ahead and keep crying, Reiner. And Aaron gets done with his conversation, and Aaron practically gives himself his little cut, that he does to turn into a Titan. And he does. Reiner goes ahead and he shields Falco, and he's actually able to hold Falco and keep him safe. I don't know how many people in the amphitheater. So many people in that amphitheater died when Aaron became a massive Titan, including the main speaker. Aaron then goes out and he fights the main Titans of Marley. He fights the Jaws Titan. He fights the Cart Titan. He fights, not exactly the Beast Titan. Levi kicks his ass. And that's right. Mikasa, Levi, Tasha, Sasha, Potato Girl, Hanji, Flock, all the main homies come to Marley to help Aaron, because Aaron has brought the only 2 Titans they got 3 now. Aaron has brought 2 of the 3 Titans to Marley, and one of the 2 that Aaron has brought to Marley is the founding Titan. So therefore they must fight. And Aaron goes up in here, man. So when this starts, we haven't seen Aaron fight in like quite a long time. Aaron looks completely different, and Aaron just goes beast mode and he just he just slaughters these guys, man. And he is now able to turn into a Titan like multiple times. Before, like he did it once and he was tired, and he like needed a break. Aaron now, I think in this fight, he turned into the Attack Titan like 3 times after his main Attack Titan was damaged. He came out of the nape and turned into the Attack Titan like 2 or 3 more times, which is just incredible. Aaron fights the Warhammer Titan, beats the crap out of the Warhammer Titan, actually almost loses. He fights the Armored Titan, eventually beating the crap out of the Armored Titan with the help of all his teammates that came on an airship. And the mission was successful. And, they get back to their airship. Aaron's back in. Everyone's making their leave, their break for it. It's been a total success. Armin went into the harbor. Armin is now the Colossal Titan. He activates his power and he kills I don't know, everybody in the port. So they couldn't follow them. I mean, just an incredible amount of damage that these guys did, and it was hugely successful. And anyhow, they get Aaron, they get everybody else. Aaron has made his point. Aaron has pissed them off. But during this time, what you don't quite know quite yet is that Aaron has actually been speaking to Zeke. So Zeke and Aaron have a plan moving forward for what they're going to do for peace between the Marleyans and the Eldians and how to save the world from the Eldians practically. But the plan is going to be really is how do we get rid of these Titan powers that have cursed our people over the last 1,500, 2,000 years, so they have a plan for that. Now, Zeke can help make this plan come to fruition because Zeke is a royalty. And so with the founding Titan powers and with Zeke, he is actually able to go to Ymir and request something different as long as they don't, well, that's right. Aaron, while just simply touching Zeke, has the ability to get around the renunciation of war, which is incredible. So you don't want to be the founding Titan and be royalty. You want to give someone the founding Titan who's not royalty, but give them access to royalty that brings them to the paths. And then they make their request to Ymir. And so that's kind of their plan moving forward. We'll talk about their plan in more detail when we head back to Eldia. But today is the day, my friends. Today is the day that we talk about Gabi. And I tell you the difference between Aaron and Gabi. This is super important because there are so many people who want Gabi to be just like Aaron. This is the kind of show that people watch and they draw just the dumbest conclusion. They draw the absolutely dumbest conclusion. If you're wondering why there's so many people who have such an odd opinion about the Israel and Gaza war, listen to some of these people who support the Marleyans and hate Aaron, and you're going to see exactly why there's so many people that support a terrorist organization called Hamas. That's going to be exactly why. Okay, now we've talked a little bit about Gabi. I told you guys that she's actually a very important character. She's a great shot. A matter of fact, when Aaron and those guys are leaving Marley, Gabi with Falco gets on to the airship and actually shoots Potato Girl. She shoots her dead. And instead of kicking her off the airship, which I think I probably would have just done, bro, at this point, I mean, just kick her off the freaking ship. But they don't, because they got to be better. They got to be better, man. You know what I mean? So they let her stay and they let Falco stay. They don't do anything to him. They beat the crap out of her, right? I mean, which is fair. She just killed one of the most important characters in the whole story, and she has this kind of ability to just pull a weapon out of her ass, and it's one of the weirdest abilities. It's do you remember that what was that show? My Hero Academia, that girl who pulls like metal out of her breast. Gabi pulls a weapon out of her ass. That's how this goes. Well, you're gonna see that because oh, this crap most of the time just makes no freaking sense where she gets these weapons. But anyway, she rolls into the airship, kills Sasha, our potato girl, gets the crap beat out of her. Her and Falco get captured, and she's super proud of herself. What was her plan after that? She had no plan. She was just simply mad that Eldia attacked her place and they were successful. That's why. And let's get into it. Let's get into it. Give me a moment. I'd like to read you kind of just a basic Google summary of why so many fans think that Eren and Gabi are the same. Both characters start out driven by a deep-seated hatred for a perceived enemy and a strong desire to eliminate them, believing it's the path to save their respective people. Both Gabi and young Eren are fiercely nationalistic and blinded by their side's propaganda, initially failing to recognize the humanity of their enemies. They both experienced traumatic events at a young age that solidified their animosity towards the other. Eren witnesses the destruction of his hometown and the death of his mother, while Gabi experiences the attack on Liberio. They both hold a strong sense of responsibility and dedication to their respective groups and are willing to take drastic actions to protect them. Character arcs and contrasting outcomes. The crucial difference lies in how their stories diverge after coming into contact with the enemy and learning the truth about the conflict. Gabi, after spending time among the Eldians of Peridia and learning of their struggles and humanity, experiences a significant shift in perspective and develops empathy for those she once demonized. She moves towards a path of understanding and trying to break the cycle of hatred, eventually working alongside the very people she initially sought to eradicate. In contrast, Eren, particularly in the later parts of the story, doubles down on his original destructive goals, ignoring the newfound understanding and choosing a path of genocide. In essence, fans view Gabi's journey as a reflection of Eren's early self, but with a different and potentially more positive outcome, emphasizing the themes of breaking the cycle of hatred and seeking redemption that are central to Attack on Titan. Intentional parallelism. Some fans point out that Hajime Sama, whatever, the creator sucks, bro. Okay. So I just explained to you why so many fans think that Eren and Gabi are the same. I want you to remember that Eren came from a very small village. As a young boy, Eren killed two grown ass men to protect Mikasa. He watched he came into Mikasa's home. He saw that Mikasa's parents had been slaughtered and he saw them on top of Mikasa. He went in there, he killed two of the grown men, and then he finally brought Mikasa to the realization that what you have to do to survive in this cruel ass world, that the reality of the situation that we're in is that we have to have the capability to fight and we have to have the will to win. He convinced Mikasa of this, and she sporadically had this will to win, and she becomes a strong, amazing warrior. But just understand that's Eren from an incredibly young age. Eren grew up with plenty of love, plenty of support. Eren had really a decent early childhood, not late childhood, early and decent early childhood. Now, here's what happens to Eren. You understand that Eren's dad is actually the attack titan plus the not plus the founding titan in a while, but the attack titan at the moment. Eren's dad goes and gets the founding titan. Eren's dad comes back. He brings Eren out. He turns Eren into a mindless titan. And then he has Eren eat him. And that is how Eren gains the power of both the founding and the attack titan. His dad is gone. That's what happened. and he has no recollection of this. All he knows is that one day his dad was gone. Imagine finding out that you ate your dad. There's a twist to this that comes next episode. So imagine finding out that you ate your dad. Now, Aaron stays with his mom for the rest of his adolescence. And Aaron's mom is a very loving person. And she is well known for saying this incredible thing to this soldier who is kind of questioning her about, what if, your son's not special? What if he doesn't do anything? And she says, that's fine. It's okay if he's not special. He's special to me. If he doesn't do anything other than be my son, then that's just fine. I mean, just the most beautiful response. His mom is just the most incredible, sweet thing. And, you just look at Aaron and you're like, how the frick you come out of this? The kid's a terrorist, man. And so she's just an amazing mom that has done such a great job raising Aaron to be the best person that he can be. But at a young age, Aaron was always so driven. He was so driven. And then at a young age, he experienced the death of his mother and the death of 50 to 100, maybe more people in his village when the Colossal and the Armored Titan attacked. As a kid, this is what he's experienced. Now, you have to remember, you think about this as a kid, Aaron didn't understand. He used to think like, aren't they just like us? Aren't we all humans? Why are they trying to kill us? And then Aaron experiences, just the most brutal with other people, but Aaron experiences just the most brutal betrayal by Raynor, Berthold, and Annie. These are three people that befriend the Eldian people, that serve in the military with them. They sleep with them, they joke with them, they laugh with them, and in the next second, they have the capability to just slaughter them. That's the kind of betrayal that you're experiencing. Imagine spending 3 years with these people who you love, who you would protect, you would put down your life for, who you trust. You see them every single day, and you have missions that align, which is to keep each other safe and to protect the people of your nation. So you think you have this kind of brotherhood, and you watch them as they slaughter all the brothers in the hood. Imagine experiencing that. I can't explain to you how betrayed I would feel if something like this happened to me. This was absolutely just terrible. And early on, before Aaron touches royalty, Aaron was in a position to where he wanted to seek peace. He wanted things to work out with Reiner and Annie. He couldn't believe it. He said, no, they wouldn't do that to us. They wouldn't do that to us. This is something that we can fix. No person would do this kind of thing to us that they just did. Well, it happened. It happened. And the Marleyan government and the Marleyan people absolutely supported their mission and what they were doing. They cheered. They thought this was the best thing ever. To Gabi. What happened in Gabi's past? Well, really just nothing. What did Gabi accomplish? Well, I don't know. She trained in the army from a very young age. She was very driven. I think she might have already killed a lot of people. She was a young child soldier, just like everybody else. What were her major losses? Really, I don't know, like nothing. What she suffer? Well, really nothing in her adolescence. Okay, fine. Well, she just kind of a psycho at this point. And so we go to Liberio, which is where the incident happened with Aaron breaking through that amphitheater and killing everybody. That was actually the first time that she'd experienced an attack from Eldia. The first time. And just from that one experience, she was able to decide that it was the Eldians that had to die. It was the Eldians who were the devils, and Aaron had brought this death to her country and to her people, and so she was going to do something about it. Now, here's the thing. You're not going to tell me here that Reiner and all of them didn't mention what they did in Paradia. You don't think there were rumors flying around about, them talking about their successes in Paradia? I mean, what? But fine, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say that Gabi isn't aware of what Reiner and Bertolt and all of them did in Paradia. They're not aware of how many people really died in Paradia. All Gabi knows is that Gabi wants to eradicate the people of Paradia. Aaron's vision in the beginning in his adolescence was never to eradicate the people of Marley. Aaron's vision really was just to protect Armin and Mikasa by whatever means. So if genocide is the means, then that's the actions he'll take. That's what he'll do. So his intention is the safety of his two friends. It isn't actually genocide. It's the safety of Mikasa and Armin. And go ahead, don't like Aaron. I don't know, hate on the guy. I don't really freaking care. But that's the reality. That is the story. This really is the story. Is Aaron is willing to sacrifice the entire world for two people. Right? That's who Aaron is. That's what he's about. Hate him or love him, he had the power to do so, and he did. Now everyone's gonna say, Gabi had a change of heart while she was in Paradia, because she's brought to Paradia after she kills Sasha, cold-blooded. She's brought to Paradia, and she spends some time in these random villages, kind of undercover, getting protected, as she ran away or whatever somehow. I can't remember. But anyhow, people want to say that Gabi experienced this kind of change of heart as she saw that the people of Eldia were just people, that they were just humans that were also suffering, that were going through life, that they weren't devils, that they were people just like them. How stupid is she? How stupid is she? That's why back a few episodes we talked about the ages of accountability. When we expect you to be able to reason, we expect you to be able to think. Really, by age 10, you should be pretty dang accountable in a society. By age 10, even earlier, but let's say 10, you have the capabilities of picking up a weapon and mass slaughtering people. These are the capabilities that you have. The mental capabilities that you have is you're able to actually reason out your mass slaughter of people. So from 10 years old, I'm going to expect if you can reason out how to kill and take a life away, then I think that you can reason out what humans are and what stands in front of you, what stands beside you, to your right and to your left. What are they? I expect you to be able to reason these things out. And I'm going to call this a natural kind of resiliency. This is a natural kind of resiliency. Gabi should have been able to recognize that not 100% of every single person on that island was going to be a devil. even in a crazy regime like China or freaking North Korea, it would be ridiculous of me to think, and even as a freaking 10-year-old, 8-year-old child, I would have never thought that every single person in North Korea or China was evil. That's a stupid and ridiculous thought. She literally is around other Eldians who have chosen to be something different than devils and rectify their past. So why in the world would the people across in the other area not also have that ability? Even if it's not all of them, why wouldn't some of them? I mean, just think about it here for a second. Does this not sound freaking stupid? She sounds stupid as shit, man. I can't stand it. We we can't we can't just let people get away with this because they're 10 years old. We no no no. 10 years old, 10 year olds have some kind of they need some kind of accountability in society. And they do have to be held responsible to a certain degree for the things that they believe and the things that they do. Now, it is the case, of course, the younger you are to to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 10, 11, 12, I don't know, the younger that you are, the more susceptible you are to holding kind of false or irrational beliefs. That is the case. Of course, you're more likely to, but it doesn't mean that you have to. So what I'm saying here is Gabi is not a resilient person. That's what I'm saying. Gabi is not the brightest pencil in the box. She's stupid as shit. Okay? That's what I'm saying here. Kids who have a natural kind of mental resiliency are going to be able to obviously see that, of course, not every single person across the way is going to be evil. Of course, they're also human. Of course, I probably don't want to kill every single person that exists over in that area. To be a 10-year-old thinking every person on this island shall die and should die because they're devils is a lack of resiliency, is a lack of freaking intelligence. What I'm saying here is Gabi is a part of the masses. She's part of the hive mind. She's not capable of thinking an ounce outside of what the hive mind has told her to think. She lacks mental resiliency. Aaron does not lack mental resiliency. Not at all. Aaron was already thinking, what are they like? Who are they? Why do they want to kill me? He's already seen the people of Marley come over and act as his buddies. He's aware of the kind of nuances and complexities that individuals can have. Even though Aaron does want to commit genocide on behalf of protecting his two friends, it isn't as if Aaron is holding some kind of false belief about the people of Marley. It isn't as if Aaron holds this false belief that 100% of people in Marley are all evil, just like he is. Aaron doesn't hold that belief. He doesn't. Aaron has natural resiliency. So, when someone tells you that Aaron and Gabi are the same, that's absolutely not true. Gabi was never and will never be in this story in a position of power. Aaron is in a position of power. And for a time, he was the only one in a position of greater power. You can be in a position of power without being a 20-foot titan. Indeed. Levi proved that to us. Erwin proved that to us, Mikasa, and so on. There have been incredible characters who have been people who've held power. Now, I can't say that Gabi didn't hold power. She's a great shot and she does important things. But Eren is in a position of greater power. This is something that Gabi didn't get to experience. It does something to people when you hold power over another, or when you're in a position of power. It's different. The way that you have to move, the way that you have to think is different, because there's more at stake and there's more to lose if you're the person who whose loss means the death of 1,000 people. Then it's going to be different for you. The amount of pressure on you, the amount of stress on you is going to be so much different when everyone is relying on you to succeed. Even if the people of Perdea would have been somewhat successful in just surviving for a time longer, they would have never been able to get to where they were without Eren, insofar as we know. Without plugging in those holes in those walls, without getting rid of the colossal attack and Beast Titan, we would have no good reason to think that the people of Perdea would have had any kind of victory against the Marleyans. The Marleyans could have truly enacted a genocide and had gotten away with it. Now, I don't want to truly say that the Marleyans' intentions were genocide. I don't actually want to say that, because I don't think that they would have slaughtered 100% of everybody in Perdea. I think they were slaughtered like 30 or 20%, and then whoever was left surviving, they would have took back to Marley and subjugated them to slavery, and the same thing that they subjugated all the other Eldians to. Now remember, Marley has other enemies other than Perdea, and so, well, they use the Eldians to fight those other enemies as well. So that would kind of be the cycle that would continue. But Eren was in a position of greater power, and because of Eren's victories, he was able to make sure that that cycle never occurred. Gabi could never say something like that. Gabi was never in that kind of position. She doesn't have that kind of importance. Gabi does nothing in this story that would have changed a single thing. Everything that Gabi does is inconsequential. It does not matter. The story would have perfectly progressed without the actions of Gabi. Let's say we just blip Gabi out. The only difference if you blip Gabi out would have been that Sasha was alive. Think about that for a moment. If you blip Gabi out of the story, Sasha would be alive, and that's it. That's it. I'm not even playing with you. I'm not even playing. That's the only difference in how this would have gone. Eren would have continued to do his thing. Zeke would have continued to do his thing. All of that still would have happened. Okay. If you blip Eren out of this story, well, I just explained to you what would have happened. 20 to 30% of the Eldians would have probably been slaughtered, and then the rest would have probably been subjugated and taken back as slaves, or turned into mindless titans and left on Perdea. That's what would have happened if you would have blipped Eren out of the story. It would be real bad if you blipped Eren out of the story. They are not the same people. One person was needed. The other was simply added. One person had the will amongst many to accomplish what he sought out to do. The other accomplished nothing. Of course, Gabi, when she spends time with the people in Perdea, Of course, all of a sudden, Gabi is going to go, wow, look at that. Look at them. They're just humans. Of course, she's going to get a little softer. Of course she is. The realization that she's about to lose is setting in. It's easier to gain humanity when you're losing. Don't you see that's what's happening? Something about the thought about inevitable loss. Something about the potential of your people being slaughtered by a greater force brings you to kind of gain this soft little sense of humanity that tells you all of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, we're the same, but we're human. Let's work together. You have to see this, right? You see what I'm talking about. Please tell me that you do. This is so painstakingly obvious. If Gabi was in a position to where she would have continued to stay in Marley, do you think that Gabi would have ever changed her mind? If Gabi would have gotten one of the Titan powers, like the Armored Titan, do you think that Gabi would have became a changed person when she slaughtered a shit ton of people in Peridea? Some of you might say yes, because, well, she changed her mind while she was, in Peridea with those little kids and blah, 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 blah. I told you. There's a difference when you're in a position of greater power. There's more stress on you. There's more at stake. I believe it is the case that maybe Reiner or Berthel would have even changed their minds if they weren't Titans and they were just simply people living in Peridea. I believe they might have changed their minds. But there's a difference when you're holding a power of a 20-foot Titan, because the decision that you make is going to be so blatantly obvious to either side. If Reiner would have turned, he would have been a direct enemy of Marley and a blatant betrayer of his people. There would have been no getting out of it. You're a 20-foot freaking Titan with with armor. There's no getting out of that. No one's gonna forget about you. You are going to be a pivotal character in the war that occurs. Not everyone is important. Not everyone is resilient. Not everyone is in a position of greater power or even in a position of power. That's something that we have to accept. Something that we have to accept is that a large portion of society, I'm going to argue around 30%, are literally just sheep that are literally incapable of thinking outside of what the hive mind says to think. If we're aborting 1 million babies a year, they're gonna say it sounds good. If you're kicking and abusing your slaves back in the 1700s, they're gonna say sounds good. If you're burning, putting Jews on trains, mass slaughtering Jews, they're gonna say sounds good. Are you getting the pattern here? There is a large percent of society that literally just take up space. And that's not to say that they're inherently evil people. They're just sheep. They're just not mentally resilient. They can't think outside of the hive mind. Now the good news is sometimes the hive mind has good ideas. Like, the hive mind might agree that murdering your neighbor is a bad idea. And so, they propagate that through the hive mind. And so luckily, at least you got that 30 to 40% that's always just kind of the sheep just chilling around. You got them on board it really helps when 30 to 40% of your society agrees that killing their neighbor is actually not beneficial. It really does. Now, that's something I want to leave you with today. Are you a sheep? I want to leave you. Think about that for real. Are you a sheep? Are you capable of thinking past what the hive mind tells you? If I told you that aborting 1 million kids a year was wrong, what would you say? If I told you that 5,000 children in Gaza dying was wrong, what would you say? If I told you that protesting on behalf of weaker cultures, and weaker cultures exist, if I told you that that was wrong, what would you say? If I told you that the destruction of the Jewish state and the Jewish people was right, what would you say? If I told you that the obliteration or the genocide of Uganda was right, what would you say? Would you say it was right? Now, most of you sheep who don't think you're sheep are you're kind of inside of this bubble. So the problem is that you would never realize, even if you were a sheep, because like I said, you're literally incapable of thinking outside of the hive mind. I truly believe this, that there is a percentage of people in society who are not capable of thinking outside of the hive mind. They are stuck inside of this bubble. And I'm gonna break down the herds here in one of these episodes. I'm gonna break down how the herd works. But for now, think on those things. Consider whether you're mentally resilient or not. Consider it. Consider whether you're a sheep. I'll be back for next time.